Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Recently I did a review of the Chandos recording of excerpts, the suite, such as it was, from Bernard Herrmann's Wuthering Heights, his rather droopy opera. Beautiful music, but boy, is it slow. Kind of like the book, actually, and heavy duty. And it occurred to me, having done Wuthering Heights, that I had not discussed their prior issue of Moby Dick, which is really a lot more fun, quite frankly, as a work. Now, Moby Dick is a cantata. It's a cantata for male chorus soloists, that is, two tenors and a bass, basically, a harpooner, a sailor, and a voice, and then a pip and a drunken sailor. And, you've got, some guy doing Ishmael and something, Ahab running around, and you know how it is. It's 46 minutes long, so it's sort of like symphonic length, and it's much more successful than Wuthering Heights. It's much more fun. It really is. I mean, you wouldn't think, because Moby Dick as a book doesn't move any faster, particularly, than Wuthering Heights does. But it certainly has more action in it. Oh my goodness, it does. You got a giant whale, you got a crazy captain, you've got psychotic, superstitious sailors. I mean, that all works really well. So what Melville does is he takes some of the juicier scenes from the book and sets them to music, and really powerful music, craggy, wonderful, dark music. Herrmann. I keep thinking German. His name was Herrmann. Bernard Herrmann, there we go. I mean, he was like a Jewish kid from, Manhattan or something like that. He wasn't, Deutsch. Anyway, he really did water well. Water was one of his good things. He did the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. He did The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, which has that, sea sort of, story thing and Herrmann was a master at low sounds. Bass clarinets, contrabassoons, trombones, tubas, basses, things down there. And, a whale. I mean, it's a whale. He's got lots of opportunities to do dark, gnarly, but ocean-like low sounds. I mean, he did Beneath the 12-Mile Reef, with the giant octopus, 12 harps. And, he was great at that stuff. He really was. And you hear a lot of that here. I mean, there's a scene where the sailors are doing their sailor stuff. They do a jig and a dance and a thing, but basically they're going after the whale. He doesn't waste any time before they get going after the whale. And boy, Moby Dick is a big, scary mother of a whale. It's absolutely terrific. And it rises to this unbelievable climax because, after all, the ship gets sunk. I mean, Moby breaks the ship into bits and everybody drowns except for Ishmael, and it just ends with a single line of Ishmael saying, "And I survived." That's it, and then it's over, and then it just stops. The end is kind of shocking. I mean, what's the actual line here? I mean, you've got the text. Here is El Texto, which is very, very good, and oh my goodness, it's like wonderful. Lower away, yes, the sharks. There's got sharks. Oh, you got sharks eating people. That's terrific. Ishmael spoken, and I only am escaped since to tell thee. That's it. And all of it comes from Moby Dick itself. Ahab, thus I give up the spear, crunch, bang, smush. It's fantastic. So it's a lot of fun. It's wonderful orchestration. It's characterful. It's atmospheric. It's powerful. It really ought to get played more often. It really should. Wuthering Heights, I'm not so sure. This, absolutely. And you also get his Sinfonietta for string orchestra. Now, the Sinfonietta is 16 gnarly minutes that kind of sounds like Psycho without the populist movie music angle. It's a lot like really gnarly Bartók, actually. It's a tough, astringent, harmonically dense piece of string writing that really does give you, I mean, you know who wrote it. It's Bernard Herrmann, and it's quite a powerful piece, an intense piece, and not easy music, not easy listening at all. So that's good to have here too. I mean, Herrmann did a bunch of concert works. He wrote a pretty decent symphony and some other things, and then of course there are the suites from all of his film scores and whatnot that are pretty terrific. But this is really worth hearing. I mean, it really is. It's fun. It'll give you a good 40, I mean, the cantata, the Sinfonietta, you probably won't play as often, frankly, but Moby Dick, 45, 46 minutes of really juicy red meat music. It's good stuff. And the performance here features the Danish National Symphony Orchestra under Michael Schønwandt with the Danish National Choir, Richard Edgar-Wilson and David Wilson Johnson and Wilson David Johnson and Edgar-Wilson David Richard, soloists, those guys. You can see which hyphenated Wilson person does this stuff. And it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. The sonics are great. They're slamming. It'll knock your socks off. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.